personality that can actually make this work. But the entire system is a pyramid scheme where most people not only don't have that personality, but if everybody succeeded, nobody would because you need a pyramids, system in
Yeah.
order for somebody to make real money, right?
That's what Destiny was always saying to Sneeko. Sneeko's like a simp for Andrew Tate. It was like everybody can make it, and then Destiny's yeah, but not everybody will make it. Everybody can, but by definition, not everybody will. Like, because someone
Yeah,
making it means someone else doesn't in those kinds of pyramid schemes, right?
yeah.
Life in general, maybe not so much.
Well, it's because life in general is asymmetric,
Yeah, it's
right?
not
Like,
zero sum.
yeah. And I guess that's where it's like not quite full blown MLM, because like these people, a lot of them are just saying it's, but it's also like the
Yeah,
poster on the
life in
wall
general.
thing of, those sayings that everybody has. I don't even remember what they are. They're so stock that I can't even remember them. Like, hard work always pays off or whatever. Like it feels like that's what they're selling. It's like you're not wrong, but you know, how much mileage you're gonna get out of that.
Yeah.
It's also the survivorship bias. Yeah, I remember now. I was thinking that because like this one guy that was like getting interviewed by one of these other people, they were both these kind of guy, but the one was interviewing the other, and they got the smiles, the intense like eye open, like oh yes, I'm excited for what you're saying type of thing going on. Uh, but this guy talking about where he was a year ago last time they talked, which was really good. Now it's like 10 times better, and like he's just wants to milk this thing, as far as he can go, and yeah, and everything. And it's survivorship bias. It's like whether or not what you're selling is bullshit, you won, and it's not doesn't mean it's a zero sum game, but like there are losers also in business. So like you've just displaced your competitors in whatever you're doing. And
Yeah.
you can't sell that to everybody because they're your competitors. So like yeah. Kind of like the Kawasaki guy or whatever. What's his name? Kiyosaki or something. The rich dad poor dad guy that you hate.
Oh yeah, I hate that guy. I don't remember
Yeah,
his
so
name. Yeah.
it's exactly the same. He's just like an older generation of this kind of person. And he's not wrong, and the financial advice is not like terrible. Like, invest your money, don't focus on spending it or whatever, I don't know, whatever he says, there's I read the book and I was like, oh, this is a good book. But then I also realized like pretty much everything he's said I like have already encountered or agree with. So it's more like a, what do you call that? The like positive self-bias type of thing or whatever. Uh, reinforcing which I already believe. Anyways, but I remember watching some interview with him trying to figure this guy out, and he's saying how like, oh yeah, this his advice works, can work for everybody, and then how he started out in real estate and he did this and that, and then he branched off into other endeavors. Like for instance, we have the Rich Dad Poor Dad board game, and that's sold this many copies. It's been a huge success. And it's just one more tick on another tick on the winner board for me type of thing. And it's like, bro, like you can't tell people that they can just make a Monopoly whatever style board game and get successful. Like, look at me, I did it. The entire thing is marketing based on you being a celebrity. Like,
Yeah.
that's yeah, it's just bullshit.
Minions have spawned. An ally has been slain.
feel like Kha'Zix is gonna try to gank bottom. He definitely wants to be hanging around the dragon in case we take it. That's pinked, so I feel like he could jump across the wall and try to gank this, especially since they're weak. I just pinked it. Was that Kha'Zix or was that the support? Kinda want to counter gank if possible. We could just go for the MF alone. Be nice if Morgana landed Q first, because then I get a guaranteed charm while she's already Q'd. Sorry, charm. Please, charm. Oh yeah, so good. I don't think she would have stayed. He's just back, right? Oh yeah, we should have just taken Dragon if he's up there. We can get her though. Oh, you missed charm, dude. You was freaking charmed by me. Oh, I would get out. Kha'Zix is freshly bought and everything. And bottom's gonna come up. Got no bottom. Can I take that? No. Can't do anything. Bottom's got a big wave to catch. We might have to just give Dragon. Unless I can like steal it. At least I have a ward on it. I probably wouldn't have scanned, just because it lets him know we're watching. I kind of would have let him start it, take some damage, and then we can interrupt it. Pink in here. There might be a pink in that bush though, so I don't really want to just walk around just yet. Looks like they're not moving in now. Can't take Dragon since it's pinked. Hang around bottom as long as Kha'Zix does. Oh, he's mid. Okay. There then. That's a pink. I can kinda maybe kill him at the pink. He's not even gonna try it. Does he have a word by my chickens or something? Because he backed off that right away. Maybe he saw Ari coming around. Nice. Oh no, we break this for free too. That's huge. They played that so badly. Like what? Horrible. Okay. I guess we get this for free now because they have dead mid. Bottom shoved in. Got prio. Free. I don't think they have a ward because we saw that one die, but I'll scan anyway just to be sure. It's pretty obvious we're taking it though, like Kha'Zix has to know. You can't get here in time. Okay, he's gonna head to his Gromp after that probably. Did we kill him the Gromp? Or he started Gromp. Yeah, he started Gromp and then went to Wolves after, so. Is it worth the support? He's 0-2. I'd maybe take the Misfortune. Take that too. Should we take this? Vex is coming though. Ah, that's not worth it. Vex though, Vex. The Vex is gonna hurt. I guess Vex just backed off. Unless he's watching me do this. Nope, he's back mid. Okay, cool. Good. I got smite and 10 for blue. Unless bottom comes for it. Vex might be watching. And over here, so Vex can't easily fear me. I already scanned this, so I'm okay to be here. She's dead no matter what. I don't even need to help. I'll just stay here in case Kha'Zix comes around. Looks like Vex is coming. I don't have my ult, but we could probably get him. Nice. And Nautilus is there. I would not though. We're gonna push this. Enough of a play. Oh no, dude. Woo. Nice. Glad we didn't get Kha'Zix though. Would he go down? He might actually go down for that. And now I can't have to babysit because I'm worried for him. Kha'Zix could be around. I mean, he might just die to misfortune ult, honestly. Holy shit, man. I mean, I could blow her up easy. She's straight damage too, so it shouldn't be a problem. I might E this bush is my only concern. She's just doubled up though, so I think we're okay. Nah, we can't. Because she has ult, so if I stay to take an auto or two, she'll just ult. Okay though. Which stayed maybe. Is Kha'Zix top? Nope. He has still only 2 assists. Do we really have like 4 AP? Oh no, Twitch is AD, good. Still, we have a lot of AP, man. Kha'Zix is away. Thinking here.
Your turret has been destroyed. Unstoppable.
I don't really want to break Herald just for like a fifth of a tower. It's not even first tower blood either. And it'd be nice to kill one of them first too. You could almost Baron, but Alawi's kind of a threat, so we need to kill Alawi first. Whoa, shit. Wow, that's a ton of them. No! Wow, that actually hit me. Jeez. Things are everywhere. This tower might just go down. They have much magic resist? No. Much none. Be nice to Herald bottom too. The full health tower, but mid is a shorter lane, so you can really get a lot more things out of Herald. It's kinda nice. If I had ult, I would totally fight those two. We don't. They'll just shadow Uri while she breaks that. It's fine.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
Alright, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
Alright, catch you later.
See ya. That scared me. I was like, what? She's right there. And she stayed. She saw me. She stayed. What? So we still got Herald. Yeah, it's good to get out of there. They shouldn't really be fighting that like 2v4. It's not worth it. Don't get much out of that. Are they really? Are they running or are they trying to turn? I've got to use Herald soon. Maybe I'll go mid to use it. Got 10, 8, 5. Oh, that's good timing actually, because of dragon. Oh, there's a Fink there, of course. Here, we can melt this quick. I've got smite too. Good pressure bottom. You're gonna get ganked like crazy though. There's usually like a little boy that holds it, like I'll have to find a little child. Okay, I think the like person giving the service can give the ring. Yeah, they'll have it in their pocket. like I'm going for it. Ah ha ha. Oh wow, I wasn't quick enough. Come on. I was trying to bait that out. Oh, sad day. He got smacked. Jesus. Allow is so BS. Oh my god. The chain damage. Pass through is insane. When she maxes E, it's like 70% damage pass through. And for some reason our bottom won't, like our top went bottom, like they're supposed to lane swap, right? But our top has not, or our bottom has not gone top yet, like at all.
You have slain an enemy. Your team has destroyed. An ally has been slain.
Riot just gave us the first patch of Season 13 and it's got changes for 6 different items, including changes to Jace's proximity mine, but I'll get into that at the end of the video. First up, Axiom Arc. Super cool item, not very good if you actually want to win the game. Its lethality is being buffed by 8, going from 10 to 18. Second, we have Horizon Focus. I honestly forgot this item existed and it's getting a 15 AP buff, going from 85 to 100. Rod of Ages is going from 300 to 400 HP. The healing or mana restoration required to proc move speed has been reduced by 50, going from 250 to 200. The move speed is being increased by 10%, and there's been several quality of life changes and bug fixes. Winter's Approach is getting its cost reduced by 100, and the health it gives is being increased by 50, going from 350 to 400. Archangels has a new build path, and it now builds out a Big Rod instead of Blasting Rod. To adjust for this, the cost has been increased by 400, the AP is going from 60 to 80, and it now gives 10 ability haste. Because of that, Seraph's is also getting changed. It now gives 10 ability haste, but it no longer gives ability haste based based on mana. Instead, it now grants AP equal to 2.5% bonus mana. The heal passive has been removed and it's been replaced with the old shield passive, which grants a shield of 250 plus 20% current mana. Finally, Jak'Sho. The cost is increased by 100 from 3100 to 3200. Resistance's increase in max stacks has been changed from 15% total resistances to 20% bonus resistances. The drain has been increased, going from 3% max HP to 80 flat plus 7% max HP, but it no longer drains from minions and monsters. Let me know if you have any of these changes. To see more new Season 13 news, click the video on the screen.
He just melted. Misfortune. Coming down mid? Oh no, she's out. Yeah, Lowry's up now. It's a little scary. I guess I can get in base through top side. Woo. That burst.
I want to climb out of silver, but I don't really have 3 hours study max. Chat, you can play 1 game a day and still climb. Okay, 1 is a bit too low, I would say. If you can do 2 to 3 games a day, if you have time to analyze.
Reverse A.
Got your Patreon, it's so elite. I want to climb out of silver, but I don't really have 3 hours study max. Chat, you can play 1 game a day and still climb. Okay, 1 is a bit too low, I would say. If you can do 2 to 3 games a day, if you have time to analyze at least one of those, it's probably better. It is most likely better to play 2 or 3 games a day and then analyze those games and try to analyze where you could do better than to spam 10 games and do nothing else. Back when I was like Diamond Heartstack for 3 years, 10 hours a day, every day, I spammed games. I got nowhere. I just like went to D2, D3, D2, D3, D1, D2, D3, D4, D3, D4. But the moment I went from playing 10 hours a day to playing 2 or 3 games a day and then I analyzed them, I went from D2 to Masters in like a week, dude. I want to climb out of silver, but I don't really have to.
Are you doing? So, we're all familiar with RESTful APIs, but have you ever wondered if there is any new awesome technology like REST APIs that gives you a way much better developer experience and push you forward to be much more productive? Yes, there is, and it's called TRPC. So, TRPC is a really nice library, and it gives you a really nice developer experience by using the help of TypeScript and typing system. And in fact, it uses RESTful APIs underneath, but it's gonna give you superpowers when it comes to becoming a better developer. So, whether you're using Node.js or literally any other framework, TRPC is here to rescue you. So, if you're not familiar with TRPC already, it's a really nice library that allows you to communicate and actually exchange data between like a client and a server in like really easy and simple way. So what TRPC allows you to do is actually you can utilize and actually implement an RPC model between your server and your client. And using, of course, and utilizing TypeScript, this makes it super good and actually the best or perfect setup for you from like 2023 and beyond. So instead of using the old RESTful APIs with like links and specifying the endpoints and sending, post, and get, right now what you simply do is actually you go and specify and create a function, and you can call that particular function, that same function from the server on the client. So it's going to give you like a type-safe APIs without needing schemas or code generation or documentation. Plus, this will improve your developer experience and make you so much more productive. And it has just been around like for like a year, almost 2 years ago, or sort of like a year ago in 2021. And it has got so much attention. So many developers, teams, and companies actually interested in this and actually moved away into using TRPC from RESTful APIs. So to see the difference between using TRPC in one of your projects and using RESTful APIs and actually try to tell whether TRPC is actually good for us as developers as an alternative to RESTful RESTful APIs or not. So I built the same application in here, which is an e-commerce shop that is, you can see products, you can click add to cart in here to view them on the cart in here, and you can see like all the ad. You can filter those using categories from this, for example, women's clothing or jewelry, electronics, and so on and so forth. And it's actually fully working. So I got 2 projects in here, one with TRPC, both obviously on the server implemented and on the client. And the second project is actually using RESTful APIs, both on the server and on the client, using Express.js and React. So this first project, the TRPC React in here, actually uses TRPC. And it got in here like a mono repo. So if I check my pack.json, I get workspaces. So the only downside, or I'm not going to tell it as a downside, but a lot of people are not familiar with mono repos, is like for TRPC projects, you need to have both the client and the server on the same repository in here, which means they are on the same project and they use the mono repo architecture. Otherwise, like the TRPC won't be working because like on server in here, you need to export the types or the interfaces or the type declarations and reuse them on the client. So, the client would obviously know and like TypeScript would know exactly all your types or your inputs or your arguments and so on and so forth. So for TRPC project, I got a mono repo and I have the server in here and I have the client on top. So for the server in here, if you take a look on it, it uses some TRPC. So you need just to do some configuration and initialize the TRPC and everything. And the most important part in here is the index. So this is where you have your router. Now, the good part about TRPC is actually provides with your own router with its own server. So you don't need Express. But obviously, if you already using Express or if you want to like use Express for your application, you can integrate TRPC into Express using a middleware that is provided by TRPC.
Hey, today. How about the McCarthy fiasco in the House? And then let's talk about the Fed minutes. And lastly, the mass layoffs in Salesforce. And we begin with a story from the Washington, D.C. brothel, and I'm putting it nicely. And a lot of you have been asking me today, what's up with this McCarthy deal? Is it going to impact the market one way or the other? I heard CNBC today talked about, oil prices are down because McCarthy did not get confirmed or whatever. And I'm like, what does that got to do with anything? It has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Matter of fact, the Joe Biden administration and his policies are the best thing that ever happened to the oil industry and oil stocks. Because the hostility means lower supply, and that pushes oil prices higher. Matter of fact, if the Republicans take over the House, and technically they did, we're just waiting for a speaker. Yet hypothetically speaking, if the Republicans took over the House and the Senate, oil prices would have crashed big time. And the reason is the Republicans will increase the production of oil in this country, meaning supply goes higher, prices go down. This is all ceremonial, of course. This loser, McCarthy, didn't get the votes once, twice, third time, fourth time. Matter of fact, last time I heard 6th time was a failure too, and they had to adjourn. So now they have to find another nominee, and that's all. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. All of these politicians, Republicans, Democrats, they're all snakes. McCarthy, McConnell, Nancy, come on. They don't work for you and me, they work for the deep state oligarchy. And that's it. And the sooner you realize that, and you accept that, the easier your life is gonna be. Take, for example, this new budget that they just passed. What is it, $1.7 trillion? While we have inflation in this country, they're spending over $1 trillion, and the majority of the spending, of course, not to build hospitals or schools or make life better for the citizens of this country right here. The majority of the spending, of course, went to defense, quote-unquote, spending. In other words, money laundering. And if you dare speak against any of this, they're going to come back at you and say, what do you got against defense spending? What are you, Russian or something? You hate this country? We have to spend and build our military. Meanwhile, after spending trillions of dollars now, all of these generals who are just salesmen for Lockheed and Northrop, they continue to bitch and moan about how depleted our military is. And if the spending really did go into military spending, how come we have all of these veterans homeless all over the place? We know the money's going for money laundering schemes. In addition, of course, to the Ukraine strip club that we continue to spend, making it rain, baby. Billions of dollars. And guess who approved all of this? All of you who say, if you vote the other way, things are going to be better, yada, yada, yada. The U.S. House of Representatives passed legislation on Thursday paving the way for the defense budget to hit a record $858 billion next year. Listen to this, $45 billion more than proposed by President Joe Biden. In other words, the Republicans are just the same. Even worse, they want to spend more and more and more in money laundering. So what difference could it make if McCarthy becomes speaker or not? We're going to get robbed either way. And by the way, when I first came to this country, I went to watch a basketball game, and they asked all of us before the game started to stand up and salute our troops. And I'm like, what the hell is this, North Korea? I'm here to watch a ball game. And then they say, our troops in Kuwait are keeping us safe. And I'm like, wait a minute here. Last time I checked, Kuwait is not in America. So explain to me again how our troops are keeping us safe in Chicago by being in Kuwait and Korea. You gotta twist yourself in a pretzel to find an answer. But folks, at the end of the day, all what matters here is we'll deal with whatever legislations, whatever policies these corrupt snakes are going to give us. Doesn't matter. We'll deal with it all. For example, if you feel bad about being robbed in this defense, quote-unquote, spending, you can get your money back, at least some of it, some of your taxpayer money back, by investing in the same corruption, by buying shares in the defense contractors. Lockheed, Northrop. I've been holding Lockheed for over a year now, and it has been one of my best investments last year. So at least I'm getting some of my money back. Folks say, hey, Maverick, why are you supporting Lockheed? I don't care about Lockheed. I'm just getting my money back, bitch. They stole it from me. So please don't be occupied about what happens in the House and all of this circus. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we'll deal with the policies. We will invest accordingly. That's that. Now, the second story of the day comes from the Federal Reserve, another corrupt institution. And of course, we got the FOMC minutes, and the anticipation was that perhaps the Fed would outlay when they're going to cut rates. And guess what? The FOMC minutes came out solidifying that the Fed will back higher rates for longer. Higher for longer, which how I wish my days would be, but I gotta work. And of course, the market took a dump when we found out no Fed official at all, none, expects interest rate cuts to be appropriate this year. Nobody. And even the most corrupt, the most dovish Fed member, at least used to be, the demon from Minneapolis, Neil Kashkari. He says that inflation may have peaked, but he sees interest rates rising higher for the next few meetings. And listen to this. He sees the Fed raising rates by a full percentage point from the current rate of about 4.25% to 4.5%. That gets us to about 5.5%. And I say, Neil, forget about 1 percentage point. Of course, the news media, CNBC and the likes, they were saying, oh, look at Neil Kashkari, he's crazy. 5.5%, really? And I say, wait till you hear Bullard tomorrow, because the real rate has to go above 6%. This inflation fight is not over yet. And you will be surprised at how sticky inflation is, despite all of the economic weakness we see right now. Speaking of, remember last year when I said, prepare for the tsunami of layoffs? And folks said, oh, Maverick, you're crazy. You're Burma Bear. You're just being dramatic. Well, guess what we got today? Take a look.
6:16 breaking news into our newsroom this morning. San Francisco-based Salesforce will lay off about 10% of its employees. The company also says it will close some offices as part of its restructuring plan. It's still unclear if any of the Bay Area offices will be impacted. This is the latest company to undertake cost cuts in a challenging economy.
So Salesforce laying off 10% of the workforce, about 8,000 employees. That's on top of the thousands of employees laid off by Meta, Tesla, and soon enough Microsoft, Adobe, all of them. And of course, the most obvious fundamental reason for all of these layoffs is the fact that all of these companies responded to the bubble mania that was fueled by stimmies and trillions of dollars that the Fed stole from the next generation of this country to fluff up equities and real estate prices and increase demand in the economy artificially, creating inflation in the process, of course. And the consumer went bananas in 2020, 2021, splurging, using the stimmies to buy cars, to buy goods, to buy services, to buy new homes, flipping Teslas, flipping homes, flipping pancakes, doesn't matter. And the companies assume that this is the new normal. The Fed is going to fluff up the economy with trillions and trillions of dollars, artificially stimulating the economy by fake demand. So this is the new normal. We're not going to have inflation. We never had inflation before, even though we've been having few. Well, surprise, surprise, inflation popped out of nowhere, just like that herpes that we thought it was coming. Well, it's back. In response to this, the Fed is raising interest rates higher, tightening the monetary policy, and we see the equity valuation for all these companies dropping like a rock. A crash here, a crash there, a crash all over the place. All of a sudden, that demand is poof, gone. And these companies are left with these thousands of employees that they hired in response to fake demand. In other words, they overhired. And now that they're losing money and the equity valuation for the companies is going down, they have to improve the margins by laying off employees and reducing expenses since revenues are going down. But this is not going to be the only reason behind the tsunami of layoffs. There is another one, perhaps a more important, more immediate one. Take a look.
I don't know where that transition came from, Joe, but we do have some breaking news this morning. Salesforce shares are actually moving higher after announcing job cuts as part of a broad restructuring with the goal of reducing operating costs, improving margins, and driving profitable growth. You see shares are up more than 2.5% right now.
So Salesforce admit that business is going down, demand is slowing, growth is slowing. All of this is bad news, yet the stock goes higher. Why? Because they're laying off employees. They're reducing their expenses and therefore improving the margins as much as they can. In response to that, the stock reacting positively. Now, I want you to do me a favor and think about what you think about.
Think about what you'd think about.
If you were the CEO of any other company, any of these tech companies, your stock is down from the top 40, 50, 60%. Business is slowing down. The shareholders are complaining. We're losing money. The easiest way you can fluff up the stock higher and perhaps use the opportunity to dump and cash out is to announce mass layoffs. This is going to be contagious, folks. Across the tech cohort, across retail, across travel companies soon, mass layoffs are coming because number one, they're overhired. Number two, they need to improve the margins. And number three, they need to fluff up the stock price higher so they can get out at a better price. Of course, the CEOs are not going to cut their pay. Of course, the CEOs are not going to cut expenses by reducing their packages. They're going to reduce expenses by getting rid of your ass. And therefore, I say, folks, if you've been hired in 2020, 2021 during the mania, and you have an insane salary, too good to be true, and your company's slowing down, the stock price is down, chances are you're going to lose your job soon. The problem is, I'm not saying you, I'm saying many Americans also assume that this is going to be the new normal. They're going to keep getting these inflated wages, and they're going to keep their jobs. The jobs are in the bank, so they went on and splurged, buying homes they cannot really afford, taking rents they cannot really afford, taking mortgages they cannot really afford, taking auto loans they cannot really afford, etc., etc. What happens when they lose their jobs? They have to get rid of all of these positions because they can no longer afford them, and that's recessionary. And therefore, I say, get rid of any obligations, any financial obligations you can no longer afford if you lose your job tomorrow. Pay your credit card down, look at your mortgage, look at your rent, look at your auto loan payment, and make a judgment here. If I lose my job tomorrow, do I have the cushion to continue to pay? And if not, I better have a plan right now. And while this is all sad and tragic, I don't know if you caught Jim Cramer today because he was gloating. He was having the time of his life over these mass layoffs. But of course, Jim Cramer today specifically was absolutely coked up. Take a look.
Let the bad times roll. What can I say? When Salesforce lays off 8,000 people, or 10% of its staff, and the stock rockets higher, you have the blueprint for a tech turnaround. Given the tech's been an ongoing disaster, a millstone around the neck of the market. More than 3% gain in Salesforce in the wake of that news today confirms that even software as a service stocks can rally. A charge of approximately $1.4 billion to $2.1 billion led to a nearly $5 billion gain in market capitalization for the Cloud King. Yes, and I think that the Cloud King's move is just beginning.
House of pleasure.
At the end of the day, this market's become unforgiving to the fat, happy tech companies that hired too many people during the pandemic and are now seeing that they're not taking the tough actions needed to protect you, the shareholder.
Okay, how much do you want to bet this is going to be in late night comedy? The guy is having the time of his life, gloating over people losing their jobs. And of course, the CEO of Salesforce, Mark Benioff, he has this fake act of the Ohana bullshit. He pretends to be, the old hippie love CEO. Well, he's getting rid of thousands of employees. How about an apology letter? How about tickets to Hawaii? Something. No, they're getting out of the door with nothing. By the way, Mark Benioff is a notorious stock dumper. He has been dumping thousands of shares worth billions of dollars from Salesforce for years, every single day. Yet he wants you to believe in his company. The company is going to grow. Well, buddy, if you want me to believe in your company, stop dumping stock. Stop cashing out billions and billions of dollars. Do you now realize this is only just one Ponzi scheme? They create these entities, they list them in the public market, and they use the retirees' money, the pension funds, to fluff up the valuation of these equities and these entities. But whether the company actually produces anything that justifies the rise in valuation of the stock, that doesn't matter. Insiders, the executives, use the bubbles, the manias, the rise in valuations beyond any justification to dump stock and cash out. This is why they're filthy rich. Billions and billions of dollars. See, back in the day when you were naive, you thought all of these CEOs, Bill Gates, Mark Benioff, they're all rich because they're smart. The answer is they're not really that smart. They're rich because they know how to play the game, the rigged game, the Ponzi scheme that we call the economy, where you lose and they stand to win every single time. Mark Benioff has been dumping billions and billions of dollars worth of Salesforce stock while your retirement fund, your pension fund, your investment fund continue to buy and hold the back. Lovely night story, isn't it? But hey, we have to move on here before we say goodnight. We have to cover the stock market. Let's do that by covering the closing of the indices today. And here we go. Higher we go. Higher for longer. How about that? The Dow Industrial Average in the green by 133.40 points, or a gain of 0.4%. The Nasdaq also in the green by 71.78 points, or a gain of 0.69%. The S&P also in the green by 28.83 points, or a gain of 3/4%. Look at the sectors all in the green, with the exception of energy again. Is it profit taking? Is it the dollar moving higher? Is it a recession theme? For now, my hunch is it is profit taking, at least for now. In any case, at number 1, capturing the gold medal, consumer cyclical. Number 2, bronze. Number 2 for the silver, real estate. Number 3 for bronze, black tea. We'll look at the advanced econ ratios. The NYSE 76% advancing versus 24% decline. The Nasdaq 68% advancing versus 30% decline. Decent breadth across the board. Is it going to last or not? This is what we're going to explore in looking at the heat map analysis, most importantly, the charts analysis. But before we do that, let's cover the commodities. And what we see here is the dollar flattish for the day, was down, a little higher. Of course, the Aussie and the Kiwi were rallying higher in the morning. So did the Canadian dollar. That kind of poured cold water in the body of the US dollar. So the action commodities was all over the place. Energy commodities down big, led by crude, WTI, Brent, all down almost 5% in a single day. Massive loss here for crude. Gasoline, RBOB, down almost 4% for the day. Heating oil, down over 2.5%. On the other hand, the formerly known as the party boy, natural gas, with a rebound of about 4% today. And the question that we have right now is money coming out of crude and moving back into natural gas. We know that nat gas has been getting hammered as of late, and the reason is we have a warmer season in Europe. But the season is still young. Anything can happen here. Sooner or later, natural gas prices are going to rebound big time. Is it the time to buy right now? That I don't know. I attempted to buy, and I got a pie in the face. So the timing becomes really, really important. When it comes to stocks, down across the board, led by coffee futures down a little over 3.25%. Cotton futures also down almost 3.25%. Lumber, sugar all down. But we have some positive activities led by cocoa futures up around 1.5%. OJ's up around 1%. When it comes to metals, the mystery continues. Why is gold moving higher while other metals are not doing the same? While the dollar remains sticky, not moving down, actually moving higher as of late, why is gold rallying hand in hand with the dollar? One of these two is lying. My hunch is the old man gold, at least for once, is the one lying. Today gold was up a little over 0.75%. On the other hand, silver down by a little over 1.25%. So what's going on? The action is all over the place. When we have this kind of confusion, we have to look at Dr. Copper, another sensitive commodity to the US dollar. And Dr. Copper has been going down. So my hunch is, once again, gold is catching a fake rally. When it comes to meats, they've been holding ground while we see energy commodities moving down. Meat commodities are holding ground, and therefore we see food inflation being stickier than any other form of inflation out there. And I talked about the company Tyson. I added Tyson to my portfolio recently. The reason is I see commodity prices for meats moving higher, and Tyson still has the pricing power to continue to raise prices without denting demand dramatically. In any case, the leader for meat commodities today, feeder cattle, with gains of a little over 1.75%. The loser, lean hogs, down a little over 1.75%. Look at grains down across the board, led by wheat. Wheat down by a little over 3.5%.
down. Killing spree.
A portion of this video is sponsored by EcoFlow. As the renewable energy sector continues to grow, so does our need for better and cheaper energy storage, which is why our reliance on lithium could become a bit of a problem. While there are already an assortment of energy storage options available today beyond lithium batteries for grid-scale storage, like compressed air and pumped hydro, there's still a search for the next big thing to satisfy our need in all the other use cases. And one possible rising star is aluminum-based batteries, which don't require rare earth metals, and they can charge faster and could be cheaper and easier to recycle. There are two exciting breakthroughs that we have to examine, and some of the benefits of these are kind of astounding. Now, how do they work, and can they really compete with lithium-ion batteries? Let's take a closer look. So why do I talk about batteries so much on my channel? Well, our push towards more mobile electronic devices and vehicles, plus renewable energy sources, is driving the need for a variety of cutting-edge energy storage technology. Now, according to the International Renewable Energy Agency, just renewable energy production alone will make up 85% of all energy produced worldwide. Solar and wind will make up 22 and 36% of that respectively. The problem is that these energy sources are intermittent and need energy storage to unlock their full potential. Over 90% of the world's grid battery storage market is currently accounted for by lithium-ion batteries, making them the most common type for portable electronics to grid energy storage. The advantages of lithium-ion batteries include conversion efficiency, high power density, low self-discharge, and good service life. It's pretty clear why they're the reigning battery champ for not just the grid, but for everything from EVs to smartphones. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for lithium-ion batteries. They have a relatively high cost, have flammability issues if they're not managed properly, which leads to their need for power management to maintain safe operation. Now, lithium extraction isn't exactly environmentally friendly process right now either, but companies like EnergyX are trying to solve that. And recycling has been an issue, but that's also getting solved by a bunch of leading recycling companies like Redwood Materials, Li-Cycle, and Recyclico. I've got videos on all of those if you're interested, so I'll put links in the description. This is when the new contender for the battery crown enters the ring, but it feels like we have a new battery emerging almost every week, right? Well, here on the channel, we've covered several kinds of novel batteries that promise to overcome conventional battery issues. Now, some of those are just hitting the market now, and others are still in the lab. These aluminum batteries overcome some of the same issues, and they really caught my eye because of the simplicity and availability of cheap materials combined with some crazy performance. So what is aluminum ion all about? Well, just a quick refresher for how a battery works. The key components of a battery are the positive and negative electrodes, which are the cathode and the anode. And in between the electrodes is a separator made of a membrane or a polymer, along with an electrolyte to help shuttle the ions back and forth between the electrodes. Now, electrons moving between these electrodes through the electrolyte make the battery charge and discharge. Now, aluminum-ion batteries are conceptually very similar to lithium-ion batteries, but there's one clear difference between the two of them that gives aluminum the edge. It can exchange up to 3 electrons per ion, while lithium can only exchange 1. That means it can take up to 3 lithium ions to equal 1 aluminum ion. The higher number of electrons per aluminum ion means a higher theoretical power density and capacity. Now, there are challenges to that though, which we'll get to in a bit, but that higher number of electrons per ion means a high theoretical volumetric capacity of 8,046 milliamp hours per cubic centimeter, which is about 4 times greater than lithium, which is about 2,062 milliamp hours per cubic centimeter, and a gravimetric capacity of 2,980 milliamp hours per gram, which is close to lithium metal at 3,860 milliamp hours. Now, on top of that, aluminum ion is safer, potentially cheaper, and doesn't have the same flammability concerns as lithium. Enough about theory. What about in the real world? Well, the University of Queensland, for example, published their research on a graphene aluminum-ion battery in 2021. The Australian company Graphene Manufacturing Group, or GMG, has exclusive access to the University of Queensland technology to commercialize graphene aluminum-ion batteries. And GMG is working towards producing commercial battery solutions for watches, phones, laptops, electric vehicles, and grid storage. Before getting into the details of how their battery works and all the exciting benefits that it brings, there's another battery that you can get for yourself today, and that's from today's sponsor, EcoFlow. I'm genuinely a big fan of EcoFlow's products because of how flexible and drop-dead simple their entire range of products are. And the EcoFlow Smart Generator Dual Fuel is a perfect example of that. It's a generator that can act as a backup to the EcoFlow Delta Max or the Delta Pro power kits. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't recharge your battery with solar, this can charge up your Delta Pro in about 2.7 hours. And the dual in its name is because it can run off of either its 4-liter gas tank to generate 5.4 kilowatt hours and run for up to about 3.5 hours, or it can be hooked up to a propane tank. A 20-pound tank can generate up to 20 kilowatt hours of power, which is more than enough to charge up your Delta Max or Pro when you're out of options. That's incredibly efficient at generating 1,800 watts of output, It has an electric start that you can trigger manually or with the app or automatically. It even monitors CO levels, fuel, oil, temperature to alert you if there's any problems. For a generator, it's pretty quiet and very easy to maintain. I love having this as a backup to my backup. Now, if you're in the market for any of EcoFlow's products, EcoFlow is running the biggest promo of the year for Black Friday as we speak, some up to 50% off. Check out the links in the description below to find your best choice and best offer on the Black Friday promo until November 28th. And just for you, this is for my channel specifically, you can take an extra 8% off with the code FERALBF8. Thanks to EcoFlow and to all of you for supporting the channel. Now back to how GMG's battery works. Innovative graphene aluminum-ion batteries operate in a similar way to conventional batteries. The technology uses aluminum and graphene rather than traditional graphite. GMG uses a plasma technique to manufacture graphene layers, which are so closely layered that the aluminum chloride atom that they're using, which is about 5.5 nanometers in size, can't fit between the carbon atoms, which are about 0.3 nanometers in between. They essentially drill tiny holes in the carbon layers, which happens to the manufacturing process, where the aluminum chloride atoms can sit. Now, all these structures and densely packed aluminum atoms make the graphene aluminum battery achieve a charge rate up to 70 times faster than lithium-ion cells, according to the company. Now, for example, a cell phone could charge in minutes with these batteries. The limiting factor isn't how much energy the battery can take, but the cable providing the power to the battery. I had a chance to interview Craig Nickel, the founder and CEO of GMG, and he provided me with some details.
Our battery is basically just carbon and aluminium, both extremely conductive, and has a very basically insignificant internal resistance. But when you take an internal resistance across a lithium battery, it's actually quite high. Carbon is well known for trapping heat. There's a little thing called global warming because of its ability to trap heat, and we see it has an enormous ability to be able to trap and spin heat out. We've tested this battery at already quite high temperatures, well above lithium batteries with no issue. So fast charging doesn't seem to be an issue.
The bottom line is that graphene and aluminum are excellent at transferring heat out and away from the cell, which would reduce the need for complex cooling and battery management systems. And the cells have a decent performance too, with a power density equal to about 150 watt-hours per kilogram. But that's much lower than what we typically see for lithium-ion, which sits around 250 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram. However, that aluminum-ion performance has shifted recently because these numbers have been increasing and can go even higher.
When we first started a year ago, we announced we had an energy density of about 150 watt-hours per kilogram. And we announced earlier this week we're now at 300 watt-hours per kilogram. We're only using one electron. It has a potential of 2 times.
Aluminum is a metal that's far more abundant in the environment than lithium. In fact, it's the most abundant metallic element in the Earth's crust, and the third most abundant element overall behind oxygen and silicon. This means that graphene aluminum batteries won't have the scarcity problem like rare earth metals and lithium-ion batteries do. Moreover, compared to lithium, aluminum is safer and more recyclable. It's already one of the world's most recycled metals.
There's a huge potential there of having a very low emissions base product. We aim to be a very low emissions producer of our battery in the first place. We're trying to get as low emissions on our graphene production as possible. And then obviously aluminium does create a lot of emissions to make, but it's 90% recycled type material. And then we're working with Rio Tinto to look to see how we can take their low emissions aluminium or zero emissions aluminium. So we put those together so we have a very low emissions produced battery, and then it has thousands of cycles, and at the end we can recycle it.
The first graphene aluminum battery pouch cells were produced in June of 2022, and GMG also plans to produce the first commercial facility for producing graphene aluminum batteries, which are used to make coin cells. And the business plans to start producing pouch cells for the EV market by 2024. Of course, money talks in this industry, and in the battery cells, the cathode represents about 51% of the total battery cost. In a typical lithium-ion battery, the cathode is composed of lithium and other metals such as cobalt, nickel, and manganese. Now, comparing the metal prices, lithium costs around $13,000 per ton, while cobalt, nickel, and manganese are currently priced at $71,000, $24,000, and $2,500 per ton. Now, aluminum is much cheaper than those metals, costing around $2,078 per ton. Finding pricing data for graphene production is pretty tough, and it varies wildly. But one report I found came out to about $100 per gram. However, that cost is dropping rapidly, and it's not clear how much it's costing GMG to manufacture their specific blend. So GMG is clearly at the pilot phase and starting to try to commercialize this aluminum-ion tech. But looking a little further out, because it's still in the lab, there's a piece of tech coming from research at MIT. they've developed an aluminum sulfur battery that shows some very cool potential and published the research in the journal Nature. Now, this battery was tested at 100 cycles at a high capacity of 520 milliamp hours per gram, and has a high energy density of around 526 watt hours per liter. And their tech focused on using cheap and abundant elements, but it's the electrolyte which is the most surprising. Now, aluminum and sulfur are used as the two electrode materials with a molten salt electrolyte. This electrolyte has several advantages, such as a low melting point. The chloroaluminate salt prevents dendrites and the occurrence of short-circuiting, as well as for allowing very fast charging. And what's really interesting is the charging rate improves the hotter the battery gets. It can charge 25 times faster at around 110 degrees Celsius or 230 degrees Fahrenheit versus 25 degrees or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also non-flammable, which reduces the risk of fire. It's anticipated that this device could be used for small-scale stationary storage, automotive applications, and all the way up to powering homes and businesses. Regarding costs, MIT predicts that their aluminum sulfur battery cell to be as low as $9 per kilowatt hour, which is about 12 to 16% of today's lithium-ion battery cell price. Obviously, this still needs to get out of the lab, but it's not a risky assumption to make that the cheaper cost of materials will have a big impact on final production costs. Now, although GMG and MIT batteries sound really promising, they share similar challenges. Perhaps one of the biggest challenges for aluminum-ion batteries, practical application and commercialization, is the aluminum reaction inside the battery. The metal can form aluminum and dendrites and suffer corrosion, which can drop efficiency and, of course, the safety. Now, the self-corrosion needs to receive some attention to facilitate the aluminum-ion practical applications because it can cause irreversible consumption of the aluminum anode, which reduces the energy density and lifespan. The utilization of corrosion inhibitors such as zinc oxide and the development of alloys with magnesium, zinc, tin, indium, and gallium seems to reduce the self-corrosion rate. Now, from an economic perspective, demand for aluminum-ion batteries has the potential to outpace other battery technologies in the future, primarily as a potential replacement for lithium-ion batteries in the electric car sector. Now, the global aluminum-ion battery market had a value of about $4.2 billion in 2021, and taking into account all of the advantages, metal sources, and widespread use, the market is expected to reach $8 billion by 2031. As I pointed out in my previous solid-state battery video, we have to find better battery technologies that can provide increased energy density, better lifespan, safety, and cost less to move away from fossil fuels and unlock the potential of our all-electric future. So will we ever see aluminum-ion batteries in the real world? Well, it's looking more likely by the day. GMG's battery is an important step towards commercialization, but is still in the works. Aluminum sulfur is still in the lab, but shows exciting possibilities. No matter what, it's not about one technology killing another, but about finding the right tool for the right job. Having more options available to us like aluminum ion is a good thing. So what do you think? Do you think that these aluminum batteries have a shot? And would you want one in your phone or your car? Jump in the comments and let me know. And be sure to
Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 13.1 preview for League of Legends. So in this patch we have a couple other changes. These will be the changes which go into the new season. So